This is a quick video on looking at just one assessment in LinkIt and how your students performed on it. So we're going to go to LinkIt. You can use this web address, or you can go to Clever and use the LinkIt button. Once you're here, hover over the reporting icon, and then you'll click and select dashboard. The dashboard will look a little different than what you're used to. So one thing you'll notice, mine is yellow, I'm anonymized, but yours should have a white background, and this may be expanded, my last 6 assessments. This will be covered in a different video, but for right now we're going to ignore all of these beautiful charts that we see on the screen, and we're going to just look for that green select data button and click on that. While it's loading, I'm going to remind you that at this point you're going to want to think about what test you want to look at. Now, since I'm in as a district administrator, I need to just quickly drill down a little bit. This should all be done for you yourself. But you can see that I accessed this by clicking the down arrow next to roster filter. And this should be pre-filled for you unless you work in more than one building. I'm going to just choose a teacher. Okay, so at this point, it should be ready to go. Now, it's important to note that I could drill down to my class, the specific class I want to see here, but I prefer not to and do it on the next screen where I can see all my students together, and then I can also look at them individually by class. So at this point, I'm ready to look for my test. We're going to be using Form A for math. This is a great assessment that has lots of good data in it. And here I am, my 5th grade math. You don't have to click the checkbox, you can simply just hover over, but we want to use the green circle icon, which is the student results button. So I'm going to click on that, and then a new tab is going to open for me. Okay, so on this new tab that opens, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is there's a left side panel with a fast forward arrows. If you click that little fast forward button, you can see that this is where you would drill down to the classes. So at this point, I'm going to choose one of my classes, and you always have to use the blue apply button. So now it's going to reload the page, and it's going to be just for this class of students. Okay, if I want this out of the way to have more real estate on my page, I'll just click the rewind arrows, and that will get rid of that for now. So I can just toggle it back and forth. Additionally, on the right hand side, there are rewind arrows and fast forward arrows. It's a right side panel, and this has a lot of different actions that we can look at, but one I want to show you is you can use this display charts button. This will drop a pie chart at the top of your column with some information, and if we go and hover near the test name where the 3 lines are for select scores, you can see that I can put additional columns that include standards, topics, skills, other categories. And so I'm going to just blow your mind right here by clicking the standards box. See how when I clicked that, it takes all the standards, and then I'm going to click OK. And then it's going to give me all of my students with all the standards here. So I can kind of take a look. This is some good information to have. Across the bottom are some averages as well. And then you can see that each column has a little siphon filter on it. So I can go through and I can filter to look at just select data. So I'm really interested in the bubble students. These are the students that are almost meeting the expectations, but not quite. So I want to just look at them for a second. I'm going to click bubble and OK. And then I want to kind of look and see, okay, where are we with the standards? Wow, these kids are not having any problems with these standards, but you know what? Here's some standards that both of these students really could use some help with. And maybe if I gave them a little bit of extra help with these standards, that might be enough to get them out of the bubble area and into the meeting area. So that's really helpful. You can see that I know the filter's applied because it's not a white siphon anymore. It's a green one. And then if I want to just select everybody, I can just select all. Let's see, what else? You can also sort. So if I click the word %, it will sort it from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. If I click one of the standards, it will also sort it that way as well. So that's also helpful to look at. And then the last thing, just to show you, on the right hand side, let's see, if I go down to general, you can see that if I needed to, I could drop a class in. So if I was looking at more than one class period, if I was looking at all my students and I wanted to know like what class they're in as a column, that's helpful to have there. And then under demographics, there's also lots of other things I can drop in as well. So that may or may not be useful to you looking at your data. There's a calculations column here, which we're not going to use because we're only looking at one assessment, but if we were looking at 2, then you could experiment with the calculations. The last thing I just want to show you at the top is that under actions, there's an option to print or export, and you can also do a save and share, which is a really great way to have your data ready for next time. Save and share would just be clicking on this, and then basically it's just you're saving a shortcut to this report so that you can get to it easily the next time you want to look at it. And the next time you want to look at it, if I go back to my dashboard home, go all the way to home, dashboard, and then I go down this side here, you can see there are some saved and shared reports. And basically it's my top one, the newest are on the top. I click on this and I am back in the window that I just was on without having to use the green button and drilling down and all that stuff. So hopefully this is helpful to you looking at your student assessments, and if you have any questions, reach out to your tech coaches.